Hey Craftiana, so today I'll be showing you how I customize this trucker hat. As you can see, it has photos on here, it has a name on here, but guess what? These photos was not done with no sublimation, okay? I don't do no sublimation, I don't got no sublimation materials, I do not be pressing the burner, okay Craftiana? This was done with a heat transfer paper. Now for this brim part, I got the template from a lady named Sharina Crafts. I got it off her Etsy shop. Her template is made for Canva. However, in the comma, I do not know how to use Canva, so I had to tweak it and fix it and adjust it to work in Cricut Design Space. Now, if you know how to work Canva, it's ready and made to go just for you, but this is going to be a tutorial how to use it in Cricut Design Space because that is what I use and what I know. Now, my rhinestones, the rhinestone chain, it came from the Planet Rhinestone in downtown LA. These little charms around here, they came from Bead Factory in downtown LA. And this vinyl, it's a random piece of scrap vinyl that I got from I don't even know. So the paper that I use, it's the Tech Wrap heat transfer paper. I really like this paper a lot. This is what I use for my brims and to put picture on it. This is not sublimation. You need an inkjet printer to use this. A lot of people use the dark fabric transfer paper from Walmart. I don't really care for it. I used it about a good 3 or 4 times. It's just really not for me. But I do like this. But you might like this, or you can give it a try if it's more accessible. But I do prefer the Tech Wrap heat transfer. Dang, I'm over here stuttering. Now, for my glue for my rhinestone trim around here, I use the Royal Glitz Diamond Glue. You can find that on her website. And for the glue for these little charms, I use E6000 because they needed something a little sturdier to hold that better real quick. So let's get right into Cricut Design Space because actually we're going to start in Canva, then move it to Cricut Design Space because that's what I know how to use. So let's get right into it. We have Canva open, so once you buy the template and click on the link, it takes you to this page. So first we're going to start off by deleting that text at the top. Then we're going to go to the left side of this screen and we're going to click on elements. Now I'm just going to type in background. I am using the free version, so I'm using it for any free background. It don't matter which one you use because I'm going to be designing this in Cricut Design Space. So I'm just needing this template to transfer to Design Space. So I'm just basically looking for a free background just to hover over there so I can download this image and transfer it to Design Space, okay? Because I don't know how to use Canva. Now, if you do know how to use Canva, you can do your whole design process right here and then print it out and just cut it out with scissors, but that ain't me. So I found a little free background and I dragged it and hovered over it. Now it fills in that template. Now I'm going to go over here to share. I'm going to click on share, then I'm going to click on download, okay? So I'm going to click on download. Now, if you have the paid version, you can click on transparent background. I don't got the paid version, okay? So I have that downloaded. Now after that's downloaded, we're going to go over and we have our Cricut open. This is Cricut Design Space, a new canvas. We're going to go over here to upload. Then we're going to click on upload images because we're going to basically find that image that we downloaded from Canva because that is now our new template for our hat brim that we need so we can design on top of it and it can fit the shape of our brim. So we find that. I found that. I'm just going to click on open and now I'm just waiting for it to upload to Design Space. See, here is that little shape of the brim of the hat. Now I'm going to go over here and click on remove background because I want all that white gone and I just want the shape of that brim to be left. As you can see, all that little white background is gone and I just have the shape. I'm going to click on flat graphic, then I'm going to click on continue. Okay, so after that it shows us what it's going to look like and I'm going to click on upload Craftiana. Okay, so now we have that uploaded to our screen. I'm going to close that little thing, then I'm going to go up here to our little width and height chart. I'm going to unlock that and my width that I'm going to be using is 7.3 inches and my height is going to be 5 inches. Now you can make this longer and adjust it to whatever you need. This is what I use. 5 inches barely touches the brim, but if you want to go longer over the brim, you can adjust that 5 inches longer. I suggest using a piece of regular paper and cutting that out on there and test it on your brim to see if that's what you like or if you want more measurement, to more length or more width. So I'm going to go over here to images. I'm just going to type in red background. This is going to be our background color that we're going to design on top of our main color image. So usually this color is the color that matches the hat that you're using. So I found a background I like. I'm just going to drag that bigger and make that bigger. I'm going to hover it on top of that. Now I'm going to make sure I drag and highlight both of these layers so that template is highlighted and that layer is highlighted. Now I go over here to this pen and I click on slice. So I'm slicing out that layer. So I would drag and delete that and move that red layer out the way, and I delete the background image that was previously there. Now this red is our template image and our background. So I'm going to go over here to upload, and I'm just going to find some images that I want to go on top of here. So I'm just looking for whatever images I want to be, you know, I'm just starting to design it. Now this is not really a full design tutorial. This is basically just to show you how to get the template into Cricut Design Space, and basically how I use it in Design Space. This isn't how I like a full design tutorial. So I'm just playing around with some stuff. Right now I'm just still finding my images that I want, and I'm adding them to my canvas. And while I'll tat out, here they are. I accidentally double uploaded some of them, so I'm just deleting the ones I uploaded twice because I don't know what I was doing and what I was clicking. Okay, Craftiana. So I should have 3 images left, and yeah, now I have 3 images left. I'm going to close that up, and now I'm going to highlight all 3 of these images because they came in hot and big, so I need them to size down. So I click on any random number 3 just to make them a little smaller so I can see what I'm working with, because right now they're about 10 inches big, and that's way bigger than our template. So whatever you're designing and whatever you're using, you want to make sure it fits in the confines of this little red hat brim. So that this little red thing is our hat brim. So everything, our pictures, our words, or whatever, it needs to fit on this in this hat brim. So I'm about to go over here to offsets, and I'm just going to play with different offset sizes. I click that little pen tool in the left corner, then I go down and go to the offsets. I'm just dragging this up and down to see what size I want. I don't think I like that, so I go up here to undo it because that's a little too big for me. It needs to be a little bit smaller. So I'm just playing with that. Okay, designing images is basically trial and error, playing with it until you find the size you like, the colors you like, everything that you like. So you will see me undoing a lot of stuff over and over. So I end up going with the 0.06 offset size. I found that to be not too overbearing and not too small. So I'm going to click on my picture and I move that out the way. Then I'm going to go over here to to images. I accidentally clicked on text, but I'm going to go over here to images because I want that offset to have a little to it, a little gold background. So I'm going to type in a gold background. So basically I'm looking for an image, so when my picture is on top of it, it's like a little, just a little contrast, a little color. You know, you could just change it a different color up there at the colors panel, but I wanted a little glitzy, a little something, you know, Craftiana. You know, then I had a different idea. I said, oh no, I'm going to line all 3 of these up. I didn't like that idea, so I said I'm going to line all 3 of these up. I'm lining them up in this template. As you can see, we're just playing around, figuring it out. So this is not going to be my final design, Craftiana. I'm just doing stuff, trying to figure it out, adjusting the height on this, but everything, as you can see, I'm making sure it fits in this little template. You don't want nothing hanging out. You don't want the edges of your pictures going past that red line. Now I forgot to note that red template that we downloaded from Canva, when you cut it out, it will be a little jagged because we didn't send it through any type of cleanup SVG cleaner. So if you want that to get clean cuts with your Cricut, you could send it through a SVG cleaner, then upload it to Cricut Design Space. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. So I'm just playing with these images still. I don't really have no rhyme or reason because I didn't really have an idea beforehand. So I went in here blind as a bat, just looking raggedy and dim. So I'm sitting here dragging these, adjusting the height, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be cute. I could put my pictures in the center and just put some words and stuff in the background. Then I didn't like that. So once I got all those together, I click on all 3 of those. I'm going to go over here to this left angle, and I'm going to click on flatten. So when I flatten those make all those stay together in one place. That image is going to make in one place. Then I'm going to offset it and offset it, all 3 of those. Okay, and as you can see, I'm going to click on that offset layer, and I'm moving that from the back of those pictures. Then I'm going to go over here to images, and I'm going to type in gold background. So what I was explaining earlier is basically that the offset layer is going to be like a little background for your picture. It's just going to give it a little So I'm just finding a little background image I like, whatever. Bam, I like this gold one. As you can see, it pop up big. I'm going to click on close that. I'm going to go over here to my right side of my screen to the layers panel. I'm going to click on the offset, and I'm going to click on that gold that we just add it. I'm going to go over here to the left corner, click on that little thing, and I'm just going to slice those 2 layers out. So bam, this is what we left with. I deleted the excess, and wow. So as you can see, our images is behind that. I don't want that. I want the gold behind the images. So I'll go over here to arrange, and I go send that to the back, and then we're left with that gray layer. We're going to delete that gray layer out the way because that was from what we sliced. That was our original, basically like our template, our original offset. So now that gold is behind our pictures, I'm going to highlight both of those, and I'm going to click on align, and then I'm gonna go over here to center because I want that image in the center of that offset. Then I'm going to highlight both of those, and I'm going to click on flatten. Now all that is stuck together as one layer, Craftiana. Okay, as you can see, I'm flattening. Everything is stuck together, so whenever I move that, all that background is stuck to those pictures. So I ended up typing established 1994. I designed that. So bam, here's my finished product. So let me mention now, once you got everything lined up where you want it to, you're going to highlight everything in the place that, once you got it lined up in the place that you want, you're going to click on flatten. So after you design it and got everything you wanted, you flatten it all together. So everything together, because this is going to make sure it cuts out just that shape, that outline. So I'm going to go over here to make it. Okay, Craftiana, remember this wasn't a design tutorial. I just ended up figuring that out later. I was just showing you how I use it. Then I'm going to go over here to continue, and then we're going to send this to our printer. Remember, we're using the Tech Wrap heat transfer paper. This is not sublimation. You need an inkjet printer for this material. So I'm going to turn off my bleed for this. I don't like the bleed setting. Then I'm going to turn on my system, use my system dialog, and I'm going to change my print settings, and I'm going to make sure I put that to best. So I'm going over here to my preferences. I have an HP laptop. I should have mentioned I am using Cricut Design Space on my laptop, not on a phone or a tablet or anything. So I click on print quality. I may always put that to best, especially when you're printing pictures, because you want the best effort ever. Then you find a similar paper that you're using. I'm just going to click on other matte inkjet printers, press OK, and then once that loads back up, we're going to press on print. Woohoo! Guess what's happening now? We put a piece of paper up in our printer. I don't know what's taking me so long to press print, but I could press print. Like, come on, print now. Press brands. For real. For real. Be for real. I can't believe me. I can't believe I left that up in there like that. I'm sorry, Craftiana. So I press print, then I press done. It's going to connect to our Cricut, but while this is connecting to our Cricut, it's going to be printing out. So I'm selecting my material. I'm going to click on printable vinyl to cut that out. However, comma, we'll see in a second. So I put the paper in my printer. Now this is just printing out with my inkjet printer, and this is what we have. So I'm loading this onto my mat, and I was hoping my Cricut print and cut it out. However, my Cricut did not want to cut this out. I'll try over and over and over. So I had to go in with some scissors. So it came out a little raggedy and jaggedy because I am not good with cutting with scissors. So I had to do the best that I could. Okay, Craftiana. So I also typed in my name and did a name decal with some heat transfer vinyl. So I cut that out as well. Now we gotta weed that backing off of our image. So be careful and don't scratch up your image. I'm just taking that little backing off so we can get ready to press this on our hat. Now this trucker hat is from Hobby Lobby. So I got that. I'm taking my Cricut mini press and I'm just laying that over there, and I'm just lightly pressing. You want to make sure you get every little area of this, and you want to keep that heat moving, and I make sure I get in little corners, and I'm just pressing that all over. Okay, and as you can see, it doesn't fully touch my edge, so you can make that a little bigger. So here's that name decal. I'm just pressing that right up on there, making sure that's nice and flush. I got that vinyl from, I don't remember, it was just in my little vinyl stash, and while I'll peel that off, brands it's on there. Now I'm going to go in with this little bling, and I'm just measuring that out. I'm clipping that off. Then I'm going to put my glue down, and I'm just going to lay that bling right on top of it because I pre-measured it out and I pre-cut it. Ooh, brands. I pre-cut it to the length and the length I needed. So I'm just carefully laying that in that glue. You want to make sure you try to get it right the first time, because you don't want to have to pull it too much and have that glue shifting. So I'm going in around this edge of this brim with that Royal Glitz diamond glue, and I'm just gonna line my rhinestone trim around here. I'm just taking my time, carefully lining this up, and make sure I go all the way around and try to get them corners neat. Then I cut off right at that corner and what I need. Now I'm going in with my little bead things that I got from the bead factory, and I'm just placing them on here, not too many of them, and I'm just taking some of that E6000 glue, putting a dollop of glue and placing it on there. Now I will lean this hat back so it could lay flat, because these were trying to fall off because that glue wasn't drying that quickly. So you want to make sure you just press those into that fabric, make sure it's fully adhered. So a dot of glue and put that on there. So here's the finished product. She came out so cute. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all my social media at Brand So Crafty. That's Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So here's the finished product. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, please. It helps me a lot. Get into it, Craftiana. Get into it.